Dean Rusk disagrees with you, and he was the Secretary of State at the time, but that's fine.
The communist nations have exploited the turmoil of a time of transition in an effort to extend communist control into other areas of the world.
Thoughts on Dean Rusk and America's involvement in Vietnam? I know next to nothing about that.
Exactly.
Dad? You all right?
July 1979, David Karr dies in his Paris apartment. Under, quote, suspicious circumstances after returning from a trip to Moscow, my Aunt Catherine found the body. Now, this was a month before I was born, so I never had a chance to have a sit-down with the guy. But if I had met my grandfather, I would have had a few questions.
Gatlin prenatal vitamins anticipate your baby's physical demands before the evening.
Question 1. What did you need 4 sequential wives for? Wasn't 1 or 2 enough?
You don't just trade in a wife like a used car.
You went from Grandma here to Buffy, Michette, and finally 29-year-old Avia. What's the deal with that?
We're Jews, not Mormons.
Question 2. Why was it necessary to perform 4 autopsies on your body? Dad says it's because your last wife, Avia, was a lunatic and kept insisting you'd been murdered after discovering a secret underground tunnel between one of your USSR construction projects, the Cosmos Hotel, and KGB headquarters. Of course, what she neglected to mention is that the alleged secret tunnel would have had to expand 5.2 miles.
More simple to take a taxi, maybe.
The nagging question still remains. Were you poisoned? Question 3. Why did you steal wristwatches from the gift shop at the George Sank in Paris?
David, what are you doing?
That just seems like a strange thing to do when you're the president of the hotel. Question 4. Why were you such a jerk to my father? He's like the nicest guy in the world.
Not that nice.
You're pretty damn nice.
Here's your tea, dear.
Thanks, Mom. Part of me's not even sure I should bring this one up. The accusation's so weird, but here it goes. Question 5. Is it true you told that crazy story to the Securities and Exchange Commission in secret testimony? About the time you found your partner in the Moscow Olympic commemorative coin scheme kneeling on the floor of the National Hotel in Moscow, pleading for his life to 2 KGB agents in the middle of the night. If it is true, when you walked into that room, were you scared? 6. Why'd you change your name from Katz to Karr? Is it because in the 1940s, when you were a reporter, it helped you get an interview with that Ku Klux Klan Grand Dragon?
Support the voluntary repatriation of everyone not satisfied with living under the white Christian rules of conduct back to the native lands of their people.
Or is it because you were embarrassed about being a Jew?
It's all here in the Bible.
I'm not trying to be a dick, I'm just curious. Question 7. When you were on the White House press corps, why did President Roosevelt refer to you as a chronic liar?
I can answer that. He was a goddamn liar.
Okay, strike that question. Seven. Why did that jerk McCarthy finger you? Did you really cover Yankee games for the Communist Party USA publication, The Daily Worker? I'm not passing judgment, I just want to know. Come on, Grandpa, spill it. Were you a commie, or were you just trying to score free tickets to baseball games? Eight. Did you ever consider that your little cloak and dagger games might have an effect on your family? Did you ever think about how much trouble you were causing?
You're the one who's always causing trouble. You think you're gonna find happiness exhuming a ghost?
Okay, I think that's real easy for you to say, bro. At least you got to meet the guy.
Maybe you should just let Grandpa be a colorful little story you tell at cocktail parties. And let it go. You can't guilt trip a dead man.
Fine. All that wheeling and dealing, dinners with the Rothschilds on your 125-foot yacht, an international merchant banker, a defense contractor and head of Colt Industries, a 3-picture production deal with MGM, connections with the White House, the Treasury, Hollywood, the Kremlin, God knows who else. How did you go from being the child of poor East European Jews to such a successful player on the world stage? And in such a weird way. I just don't get it. Were you a bourbon man or a scotch man? Wait a second, if this is my last question, I got a better one. Question 10. Let's put aside the rumors and the accusations for a minute. Let's look beyond your overblown mythology, the illustrious personalities you magnetized, deals you pulled off, the millions you burned through, your crazy ambition. What I want to know is, who were you?
One, two, three, two, two.